Hi, I'm Ben from the Schoppee Farm. So I haven't been very diligent this year about doing our Friday farm updates. So in lieu of that, I'm gonna try and catch everybody up here a little bit. We get a bunch of questions about how we plant the plants and kind of the beginning parts of the farming process. So I'm going to cover a part of that. So part of it is how we manage the seeds, the seedlings, and the planting, and then the other half to that is the field preparation, which we're going to try and save for another video. You're probably wondering why I'm not out in the fields doing this video out with the plants. It's really hot and humid here. I don't know what's going on with the weather in Maine, so we're sitting kind of on the deck. So we're going to talk about the seeds to the seedlings in the field. So basically, we order our seeds from Oregon. They come and we store them in a dry, completely dry environment at about 40 degrees. It's the safest way to store them. We prepare the greenhouse. So we plant our seeds in the greenhouse in 50 cell trays. The trays are about that big. They have 50 cells in them. A lot of people use 72 cell trays. We're not going to get real technical in this video, but there's different reasons to use the different ones. A constant consideration for us, because we are on the coast and we deal with fog frequently, is the mold and mildew issue. So as the plants mature, the flowers are very dense and we have to be very careful about making sure there's proper airflow. So we like to stretch our seedlings a bit, which means to try to get them a little bit taller than most people would, so there's more space between the nodes on the plant. So that gives you a little bit better airflow later in the year. So we plant in 50 cell trays to give the plants a little more dirt and a little more space. We use an air seeder to plant, which it sounds fancy, but it's really not. I'll have to show you what it looks like in a future video. But basically, you use a vacuum, you use the suction from a vacuum, and you have a plate that has a whole bunch of holes in it, and you turn the vacuum on and you pour seeds on it, and each little hole gets a seed in it, and it corresponds to a cell in the 50 cell tray. So you put your dirt in the tray, and then the seeds in the seeder tray, and basically you just flip it over and pull the vacuum off and the seeds fall in. It's very simple. It took Peter and I did most of it this year. It took us about two and a half days or so to do about 30,000 seeds, which is approximately what we're going to grow this year. So basically, you plant all of the seeds in the trays in the greenhouse, and then we keep the greenhouse pretty hot and humid until the seeds germinate. So that means 75 to 80 degrees and probably 80 to 90% humidity. So it's like a sauna in there. But you end up with a really good germination rate. For the most part, it should be probably over 95%. So you wait until the seeds germinate. You start to see them after 2 days. They're pretty much fully germinated after 4, and then you drop the temperature and humidity in the greenhouse pretty quickly. That's not a particularly healthy environment. You're going to end up with pretty lanky seedlings if you don't bring the temperature and humidity down. So you steadily work that down over the course of 3 to 4 weeks approximately. A lot of that depends on the field preparation, so that's the other half of this that we're not really going to talk about today. But the planting and growing of the seedlings and the preparation of the seeds or the preparation of the fields are done in concert. And if the field preparation is going well, we can allow the seedlings to grow along as they would like to, and they can come out in about 3 weeks. Mostly that depends on the weather. If we're having some trouble with the weather and the field preparations are taking a long time, then we'll kind of slow the seedlings down, and they can be in the greenhouse about 4 weeks. But at the point at which they're ready to come out, we basically use what's called a water wheel transplanter, and again, we can talk about that a little bit more in another video. But basically, the trays go on the water wheel planter, and the water wheel planter goes on the back of the tractor, and 2 people sit on it, and it pokes the holes in the rows, and it dispenses a little bit of water and a little bit of fish and kelp based fertilizer. And the kelp we get from our friends at Nautical Farms right here. And so we mix that into the water so the plants get a little bit of nutrients when they get planted. So the water wheel planter is literally a wheel with water in it, and it rolls along and has a wedge on it. And it pokes a hole and deposits about a cup of water, and then one of the people that sit on the planter just pull the plug out of the tray and stick it in the row. It sounds easy, sometimes it is. if the conditions are perfect, it works flawlessly. If it doesn't, and we've done this twice now, it usually doesn't. You have a bunch of people that walk behind it and kind of fix the rows and make sure each plant is sturdy and planted properly. That took us about a week to do that. Then the plants are in the field, you water them in, and then you end up in where we are right now, which is basically we're fertilizing and we're weeding and we are getting ready for harvest. So we'll talk more about that stuff coming up. So that's very high level in a nutshell. That's the planting process. If you've grown a garden, you know the drill. Germinate the seeds, grow up the seedlings, transplant out to the field. Of course, there's a hardening off period, and then it's just maintenance until harvest. So that's it. Thanks for listening.